This week, the big controversy on The Ultimate Fighter is stolen marinated chicken. Julian Lane thinks it's hilarious because they're looking for it in drawers. Who would put marinated chicken in a drawer? About a whole minute of the show is just bleeped out cussing between Michael Hill and Secor arguing about the chicken. Hill vows he'll put him to sleep for accusing him of taking it. We go to a commercial, and then there's a fight announcement. Team Carwin chooses Colton Smith and Eddy Ellis as the two men who will face each other this week. We go to a Team Carwin training session. Elliot Marshall is helping Eddy Ellis work on some things on the ground and prevent being tied up and not being able to do damage. Ellis rates the advice as, quote, pretty useful in MMA. Trevor Whitman gives advice too, and Shane Carwin rates him, quote, a genius at everything. After the commercial, we get Colton Smith's life story. He was born in Iowa, grew up as a wrestler there, now he lives in Fort Hood. He said he was a troubled kid, coming from a single-parent home, so his mom put him into every sport, but it turned out to be wrestling was the one he excelled at. From there, he went into the Army, found discipline, and now feels like a well-rounded, complete fighter. After the next commercial, Smith talks about his family and says that even though he misses them, it's better than being shot at or blown up. He says, quote, Eddy Ellis has been through a lot of wars in the cage, but he hasn't been through any on the battlefield. Ellis, on the other hand, thinks Smith is nervous about facing a more experienced fighter. Although it's worth noting that Eddy Ellis is 17-15-1, so he may be more experienced than the 3-1 Smith. He's just as experienced at losing as he is at winning. The first round, Eddy Ellis is not doing too well for the first 3 minutes. Smith is out jabbing him, outworking him. Ellis is getting taken down but getting back up, which is kind of what he promised he'd do during training. And then, after the halfway point of the round, he finally starts to work the striking. He drops Smith, takes his side control, takes his back, goes for an armbar, loses position. When they stand up again, he cracks him with an elbow and takes him down a second time. Even though he was doing great for the first 3 minutes of the fight, he got beat up so badly for the last two on the ground that I think it actually went the way of Ellis, and he won the round 10-9. Complete reversal of fortunes in the second round as Smith takes him down within the first 30 seconds and then just barrages him with elbows from side control. The best Ellis can do is push him back to guard at least once, but most of the round he has side control and he's dropping elbows and he's turning his opponent into a bloody mess. There's blood gushing out of a right eyelid, and it's just crimson mask by the time Dean finally stands him back up with 57 seconds left, saying that he wasn't doing enough damage on the ground and he wasn't just going to leave Smith there on top if he wasn't going to throw blows for finishing. And he managed to hurt Ellis again with less than 20 seconds and rush in, but Ellis tied him up and managed to survive to the end of the round. Both teams seem to think we're going to a third, but there's only 7 minutes left, so I kind of doubt it. Sure enough, at least two of the judges gave Colton Smith a 10-8 for the beating he laid down in R2, so as it turns out, he wins the majority decision. Dana White complains that they're handing out 10-8s like candy, but there's nothing he can do about it. So next week, Team Nelson has the hammer, and Team Carwin has to try to get it back. But the teaser for next week is that Roy Nelson uses, quote, the strangest method yet for choosing his opponent. We'll see what it is next time. I'm Stevie J. Thanks for checking out the Ultimate Fighter Recap.